Can you hear me? I think I was yapping and my line was muted. Okay, listen, guys. Listen, happy holidays. I was running my mouth, didn't realize my line was muted, but can you hear me now? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. I unmuted. You can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. I was muted. Well, 1 second, guys. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. Listen, I decided, yes, y'all can hear me. Okay, good, good, good. I decided at the 11th hour, I was like, let me come on really quickly. And I was like, I was shopping. I was all over the place today. I'm in Jersey. It is freezing in Jersey. Like it's so cold outside. It's crazy. I'm not prepared for the cold. I gotta buy a hat. I gotta buy a scarf. Listen, but anyway, guys, I'm here, right? So we're going to have a holiday show moment here. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for joining me at the last minute. Okay. Let me bring Chef Kevin to the building. Hey, Chef Kevin.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
How you doing?
It's cold out there. It's cold
It,
out there.
it is freezing outside. Where you from?
Brooklyn, Jack Frost done lost his mind. Oh, you know where I'm at right now. I'm in an undisclosed location. I'm
I
in
ain't
an
mad. Listen, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you.
I'm in
But
an
listen,
undisclosed location.
I
Might
hear
get
you.
stalker too.
Okay, incognito. I ain't mad at you. Snow and windstorm here. Where are you? Oh my gosh, yeah, freezing. So listen, guys. Robin's in the building. Hey, Robin.
Hi, Sissy.
Hey. I
How
decided
are
at the
you?
last
Listen, I
minute.
was going all
I
over the place. I just came. I was like, oh, I think I'm falling asleep. Nope. Let me see what my sissy is up to. I'm so happy to see you. Happy Friday.
Listen,
Happy everything.
happy holidays. You know what? I gotta admit it. Before we get into our little holiday season here, I was shocked. I was shocked when they called the verdict and they called him guilty on all three charges, Tory Lanez. I was in shock. Um,
For
did
real?
you think it was going to go this way,
Okay. So, here's what makes me laugh about myself
Robin?
is that I do have a space and place of my space and place and feeling about this criminal justice system. And what we have alluded to and touched on this particular channel, one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that has been really important to me is about what is presented in the court versus the public.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take it as basic as um, Meg lied with Gail, but she told the truth in court. And I am standing 10 toes down on the what was presented in the case in the court of law. And I am so happy that the truth prevailed. And I will stay there in that space. I'm not going to project about what the impact is on her career, although I do have a feeling about how, especially the men in the world of hip hop, have related and how they degraded her. But you know what? It's what it is. And I am, because I was not in the courtroom, nor was I a member of the jury,
right,
part of the team that prosecuted or defended her. I'm going to just stand in and I want to be just open to believing that what happened was good, right, and true. And I'm just hopeful that Meg can move forward with her stuff, because we know how well she was traumatized. I will say, brother man, Troy Negro from the other planet, go north to Canada, and let's keep it moving. I'm good. I'm good with the outcome of this case. Very good.
So wait, guys, number one child said the neighbor watching everything from his bedroom window did Tory in. Not only was the guy angry, it all went down in his driveway. He feared for his son with all the shooting. Listen, I would be, you know what, that happening in my driveway and everything, I would be scared too. Someone said, "Amen. I'm not a Megan fan. I prayed too hard." The more days of testimony that happened, it seems like people were bribed and intimidated. I'm not judging Megan. The industry should play nice. I feel like it was a whole lot of bribing going on both sides too.
It was. It is a question, Diva. If we were able to strip everything out about this, for me, and again, I told y'all I was not really invested in this case, because I feel myself to be outside of the catchment area, and that is just I'm older, so I don't do this whole like thing. If you want to talk about hip hop and rap, bring it back to the Funky 4+1 and D Nice living by the D and the 4. So that's where I come in. But I didn't follow it closely, but everything that I did see, in my opinion, it seems like whatever what the outcome was right, just, and true. And I think that moving forward, there are two things that are going to need to happen. One is that there needs to be the settlement of people weighing in on this case, where folks, especially Black men in the industry, denigrated Meg the Stallion, not for who she was or whatever. It was just because they just wanted to take his side, and I don't understand it. But then I'm hoping that we can move forward and say, if she has a talent that people are willing to proscribe to, let's keep it moving, make it happen. And I did see a quick thing, and I'm hoping that somebody on the panel in the chat can explain to me, please forgive me if I'm out of bounds, about Brother Man's daddy. His father, what I saw was so off the hook. And when I say off the hook,
I'll say my piece about it, but hold on one second. Roslyn, thank you so much for the super chat. I truly appreciate you too. So thank you. Just a little something. I appreciate you, Diva. I appreciate you more, and I really do appreciate that. So yes, before I pull you in, Roy, into this, women are still big consumers of hip hop. I don't know if there's enough pick me females to keep them paid. Fed said I'm scared for Megan.
Me too.
Happy holidays to you too. I'm praying for her safety, protection, support, and a strong sense of discernment. So this case has so many layers to it, in my opinion, right? So but daddy is being a daddy. So so that's where daddy's passion came from. And he felt like his son was railroaded and there was an injustice done. So daddy stood outside that courtroom and lost his natural mind, because now his son can potentially go to jail for 20 years over what happened.
And by
And
the way, here's the thing: while we cannot couple other instances of his behavior in this
mhm,
instance, especially as it relates to the court case, but because we aren't bound by this, if we take a beat and we say, not only did this happen, but didn't he like swing at, beat down August Alcina, and doesn't he have other?
but the thing
No, no, no,
he
no,
has
no. Wait.
uh
I'm not saying it to excuse. I want to just say that if we look at this man broadly at his
mhm.
behavior, it kind of fits the bill that he has very misogynistic and evil and battering tendencies. That's all. I'm just wondering if that is something that daddy is missing or not acknowledging, that he like whatever he did to August Alcina, whatever happened with Meg the Stallion, that this is a pattern and an executed and really reportable pattern of abuse that he has engaged in. And that's all I'm saying. I
All
don't,
right,
you know,
let me get Roy in.
right
Um,
here,
so
ready?
Michelle Mabel, no, his father was in denial. The man has a pattern of behavior. If he was
See?
not found guilty, how invisible does he feel? It could have been worse. Okay, Roy, what do you want to say about this situation?
Good evening, everyone. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Good, good. I hope everybody's having a good night. If y'all really want to know my opinion, you can check out my YouTube page. I definitely posted a video. But just real quick, this is this is a joke. This is a joke. I do not feel the prosecution proved that Tory shot Megan. I do not like the way that everybody has been lying since the beginning of this case. And I don't even feel like that this should have went before a court because they have completely made a complete fool of our justice system. I mean,
Mm-mm.
where were the people who were supposed to be subpoenaed? Where did Megan's bodyguard go? All of a sudden, he's been found now that the case has been, closed, or that a verdict has been
Communicated.
given. Yeah,
That
a
part.
verdict has been given. Why was Kylie Jenner not summoned or subpoenaed to court? There were so many missing pieces. There are still, right now, so many missing pieces to this case. And I think because all of these people have money, they have made a mockery of the court system. And the court system has allowed them to just do whatever they want to do because they have the money to pay for it. I think, I personally, in my opinion, I do think Tory did this, but because Megan has been so dishonest from the beginning,
Uh-oh, where's my
We,
baby?
we lost him. We lost him.
So,
It
so
sound-
if you said you
it-
stepped on a
when
piece
he
of
comes,
glass,
wait, go ahead. I think you're going in and out, Roy. You're going in
so
and out.
when he comes back, can
But
I just say a couple of things?
yeah,
One of them is that
one minute,
as
Robin.
out.
One
Mhm.
minute, Robin. So, Roy, can you hear us?
yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
I can. So go
Yes,
ahead,
baby.
finish.
Yeah, I feel like they have made a complete fool of the justice system, and I feel like I said, because everybody has money, they can just kind of do whatever they want to do, and this is, it has disappointed me as far as the case as a whole, and the unfortunate part is now people have to go behind them and still go to court and look at our justice system as something to take serious, but it's not anything to take serious. I don't like the way the judge has run this case. I don't like the way the prosecution has brought the lack thereof of evidence. And, Tory, sorry, sir, you got to go. I really do feel like you did it. And I feel like Megan's friend, Nicole, needs to go down as well, too, because she knows more than what she's telling as well. She lied on the testimony. She lied to the police. Lock everybody
Mhm.
up at this point.
I
That
agree.
part.
I think Roy Air has
That
such a
part.
great Roy
Go
Air
ahead.
has such a great point and perspective. But here's what we need to be very clear about. As much as the public has an opinion, we need to be very clear that the system, the general um, justice system, as well as how they proceed in the courts, is absent of a lot of our emotions. So what we saw brought to the fore was what was within the parameters of the legal system that all of us are not well versed or educated about and how the process moves forward. We want to be mad at her friend who maybe got down with Tory, and then she was mad, and then she lied. But they're very encumbered by not only just the facts of the case, but what they're able to present to the case. And that's what, for us, because many of us are very swayed or influenced or even mildly educated by what we see in television, the law and orders of it all, about how we play out these court cases, that we're not as clear as we need to be about what happens in criminal prosecution. And I think that at minimum, what we know in a criminal court case is that the outcome is about a reasonable doubt. We know in a civil court case.
Wait, but see, hold on, Robin. Let me just let some other people in this conversation.
Okay.
And you're saying reasonable doubt, but that's the problem I think me and Roy are having.
No.
Hold on a second, Robin.
Wait, Diva, don't go ahead. I need you to classify me appropriately. I was laying out how we view these things and what we know based on what we are told. If we're not in a classroom educated, that we know when we watch like the TV shows, when it is a criminal case, we know that.
Okay, but let me let some other people. Hold on 1 second, Robin. I gotta let other people in the conversation. But what I'm saying is, I'm not going by TV. I'm not going by law and order. I'm going by the words that they are saying beyond a reasonable doubt. And I have so many doubts. We can't, we want to say, oh, we know for a fact that he did it. We don't know for a fact. We may have some clear evidence that's leaning to a yes, he might have done it, but they have not proven.
Are you able to say what evidence was presented in the court? And I think that's where we fall short, is because we're not sitting there.
I don't know if we fall short of that, because there were some people who were clearly in the courtroom who said some things that were being said, and there's articles that said that this one was missing, this one lied, this one didn't testify. I don't think that all of those articles was just 100% wrong. I don't.
And the way that her friend was allowed, to be so dishonest on the stand. Now, I work in the court system. I work for the Union County, North Carolina courts. The stuff that they were allowing in that courtroom is unacceptable. The way that young lady got on the stand and lied several times, everything that she said was different from what she reported back in 2020. And the fact that the judge allowed those things to go forth, that is not something that would happen in a normal courtroom. A judge would not allow you to testify against something that you have already reported and said, and then re-jog your words back. You're just not going to get away scot-free. And she got away scot-free.
Honey, that's not unusual. That's the thing that I think that we're
okay. So, all right. So hold on 1 second, because I got to let other people in the conversation. So, Best IBK, thank you for this information. You said guilty. 1, negligent discharge of a firearm. 2, assault with a semi-automatic firearm. 3, carrying a loaded and unregistered firearm. Okay. So I need more details. Like, I'm not saying these are minor things, but what is the amount of years attached to these 3 different charges? I know they're saying he's facing 20 years. And, I guess overall with the justice system, and I'm leaving Tory Lanez in this case out of it for one moment. Here's a man where the person is still alive, and he's facing up to 20 years. And there's people that have taken lives and done less time. It's a lot going on in this case. Chef Kev, you was in the building before, some others. Let me let Chef Kev, what would you like to add to this conversation? Then E and Curbs, I'm coming to you. Go ahead, Chef Kev.
I'm just listening.
Okay, fine. Perfect. E, you're in the building. What would you like to add to this conversation? Go ahead.
Well, hi everybody. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Hey, happy holidays.
Hey, I'm probably going to be in the minority. Diva, I sent you an email earlier. I didn't know what your stance was going to be, but I have to say this. I got the news probably an hour or 2 late after the news had already broke.
Okay.
And I I was pleasantly surprised. I was happy. I was relieved because when I tell you that it's been so many men on my timeline, on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, saying that they were going to rejoice like when OJ got off and things
Mm,
like that. That made me very fearful because the perception is we're going to use this woman's past, and use the lies that she's told, and her being sex positive, and use that against her to invalidate this crime being committed against her. When I'm looking at the facts, and I'm not a juror, but I have worked in the courthouse similar to what Gloria said. I worked at the Clayton County Superior Court in Clayton County, Georgia. What I will say is that there were only 4 people in the car. One person was driving, and the other 3, 2 were in the back seat, and Megan was in the front seat. I believe that witness who watched from his balcony, even though he said he couldn't make out faces, we know that Tory was the shortest one there. When he said that he thought the 3 of them were going to toss that woman into the river, I believe him. I was fearful for that. And my thing is this, that Tory has a pattern of abusive, violent,
Yes.
and
Yes.
dishonest behavior. And that cannot be ignored either. I'm not saying that Kelsey is innocent. However, what she has done that has violated the law, the prosecution is aware of, which is why they offer her immunity, because what she had to offer was more valuable to the case. So she got a pass for that, and maybe they'll circle back and they'll get her. But I believe Tory has bribed these people. I believe he's paid people off. I know you probably, Diva, I love you. I promise to God I do. You're one of my favorite people, but I have to tell you my truth. I am glad. I hope he gets all 23 years. I felt he brought that.
Amen.
I hope he brought that 6-year-old in that courtroom to play up to the cameras to get sympathy. That was no place for that child to be in that courtroom during all of that shenanigans. And people keep saying, well, the baby's not going to have his father for Christmas. Good. Absolutely great. He'll have 23 more Christmases without him because of his own behavior. Send him back to Canada and get him out of here. We need to get our streets cleaned up, and we need to set a precedence as a community, because what really ticked me off is that we did have Black reporters, Black media in the room, but all we did was just expose how divided we are as a community between women on one side, protect Black women on this side, and then you have these people on the other side protecting Black men. And it's almost like a competition. It shouldn't be a competition in this case. The fact of the matter is, somebody got pow. I tried to choose my words carefully.
Say E.
And that person who had that weapon needs to be held accountable. I don't care if some people have reasonable doubts. The whole fact of the matter is 2 people had their hands on the weapon, and one person got immunity and the other person got guilty. Three counts, and it was well deserved.
E, can I ask this? And I'm about to drop off, Diva, so I just want to ask real quick before I drop out. And this is for everybody in the room. Do you guys feel, and let's just be honest, 100% honest, and if you do, I respect your honesty, but be honest. Let's just be honest for a second. Do you all feel that the prosecution really presented the evidence to prove that Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion?
Yeah.
And let me say this. I feel that he did. I do personally feel like he did. But I do not feel that they presented the proper evidence to prove without a reasonable doubt, mind you, a reasonable doubt that he shot Megan Thee Stallion. Do you all really feel that the prosecution?
Yes.
They did not.
Yes.
They did not. But you know what, Gloria? Here's the thing, Gloria. Once again, we're on the train by ourselves. I think that people feel, but hold on, Robin, let me just say this. I think that people feel if they admit that that is so, what you're saying, then it's like saying that Megan shouldn't have got justice. So I want to be clear to everyone. Megan should get justice, but I think it should be justice for real, meaning that y'all proved 100%. So this man want to say maybe if he thought, how do you know that somebody was about to throw someone in the river? How?
But I don't think there
How
was
do you
justice served.
stand down at a situation?
There-
How do you stand down at a situation and literally said you're allowed to say all the things that you thought? That just doesn't even that's crazy to me. And
You're
again,
right.
I'm
I
not
love you
saying
guys. I'm gonna hop off for a second. I'll try to come
Bye
back
bye.
on.
okay, see you later, Brady.
Bye,
So
boom.
all
But
I'm saying,
I don't think justice was
let me just
served.
finish and let me get other people in the building. Let me just finish. And you know what? Yes, I get it, right? Listen, that's why we're here, guys. Y'all can challenge me, y'all can disagree with me. I won't be upset. But I'm just saying that here's the thing. If you have a person and they rob Wells Fargo, they rob Provident Bank, and now this other bank gets robbed. Though that person that robbed the first two banks, they're dead wrong, they're messy. But that mean that they automatically rob the third bank?
And
So
doesn't mean that if they're
all
found
I'm
justice,
saying is
justice
yes,
was served.
he has a history, he has a pattern, he has a past. So what we're saying is that they were dead wrong for bringing in Megan's history and her past. Everybody's saying that was wrong. But for him, they're like, nah, look at his history, look at his pattern, look at his past. So I'm not saying that I'm here for what Tory Lanez did. I'm not saying that he's this good guy. I'm not saying that he's messy, right? All I'm saying is this. I like to see, to the best of the ability, fair and equal justice. And if, I mean, we would have to get this transcripts and maybe break down the transcripts, but I would say this. I don't feel from everything that I heard and know that, but beyond a reasonable doubt, that they have said and proved that he has done it. Plum, I know she didn't speak. You got to give it a minute. That they, that they have proved that he did it. He had it in his hand. I believe, this is just my belief. I believe that both of them had their hands on that pow pow. And if that is the case, in my opinion, he should not be the only one getting clinked and going to jail and
Here's
paying
the
for
thing.
his crime.
But
That is my
Dee,
opinion. I gotta bring Curbs and Nadi in the building.
hey,
Um,
Hey,
hey Curbs.
happy
hey, how's
holidays
it
to
going,
everybody.
everybody? Awesome. What's good? Okay, so I was out in traffic with my mama, and I got an alert on my phone, and it said he guilty. He guilty of all three things, and I was like, "Well, what three things? I thought he just shot her. Was it one for each thingy in her foot?"
No,
And then I looked
bedside K gave us broke down the charges. It's
at,
something about having a firearm, having one unlicensed, and reckless endangerment. I'm kind of paraphrasing it with the
right.
firearm. So I
Okay,
guess
but
that was
isn't
part
it
of Huh?
isn't it really interesting that the NRA can be the NRA and everybody needs a
Only for white
firearm, but
people.
then he gets a firearm and there's a
Only for
problem
white
with it.
people.
So we can talk about that a different day.
Right.
I'm glad that he's guilty. I'm glad that they found somebody guilty for hurting this woman. I'm surprised that there was so much mess and confusion about it. But I feel like, reasonable doubt, it just means that there's no other reasonable explanation. It's not like the end all and the be all, 1000% you're totally guilty, because you can be found guilty without any evidence at all because of reasonable doubt.
No, wrong.
So, yeah, no, it says it right here. I'm literally reading this right now, lady, and it says it right here. It says it, and so, but all the prosecutor had to do was show that it was more so him than not. That's pretty much what reasonable means, because, as we know, old girl got immunity, and that protects a witness from having prosecution use their statements or any
Against
evidence
themselves.
discovered from their statements against them. So that does imply that she had fault in it, but she was lucky enough to get an immunity deal because obviously who they wanted was him. So they gave that to her. She got off great. Also, that girl got to plead the fifth, and that gets to refuse to answer any questions in court of law because it might be harmful
to show that she committed a crime when they called to
Actually, that's
testify.
not right. That's not what that means. When she's
I'm
granted immunity,
reading it right
Okay, wait,
now.
hold on, guys. Hold on,
I'm
guys. Hold
done.
on, guys.
I'm
Hold on, guys.
totally reading it
Okay,
right
wait.
now.
Okay,
Lisa
hold
So
on.
that
Hoskins is
just
Wait,
doesn't.
guys, hold on. Hold on. Let's just hear each other out. Okay. We can agree to disagree. Because listen, you know all the time, they be like, Diva, we don't agree with you. It's okay. So we can agree to disagree, but I want when someone is speaking, let's hear what they have to say. We don't have to agree with what they're saying. Let them say their piece. Let me move on to the next person. But at least let's hear what everyone has to say. And we come to our own conclusion at the end. And we're gonna feel how we feel. But the
Right.
thing is, this is how the world is feeling this way also. This thing is split. It's a lot of emotions behind it. And a lot of people, they feel the way they feel. And a lot of people feel like justice was served. A lot of people like, I don't care. She got shot. Somebody's paying. And that's all we care about. I'm just saying on a higher level, we should care about who did it, but that's me. So finish what you're saying, Curves.
So, based off of all of those things, I just feel like they were focused on him for whatever reason, even knowing that she might have been complicit in some action within a crime committed against Meg on that night. I don't have issue if they gave her immunity. Hey, good, she got it. He shouldn't have had a thing. He shouldn't have did the pow pow, and for him to try to bribe the people and then drag her to the car and then drag Kelsey. I mean, he had all the things that he's done. This is cumulative for him too. Like it's just Carmageddon is going on in his life right now. The negligent discharge of a firearm that happened. Assault with a semi-automatic firearm that happened. Carrying a loaded and unregistered firearm that happened. And they found him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt based off the evidence presented. The jury, did you know also reasonable doubt is kind of based off of common sense? And so, yeah, they based off of common sense and reasonableness, they came to this based off of the evidence presented. And I, for one, am pleased. I'm just mad that it took so damn long and that everybody's panties was in a bunch, that the lady was trying to get justice without even telling straight out that he did it. I mean, we should be praising her for trying to keep silent and protect him at the same time while trying to get justice for herself, if anything, if she really didn't see. But even that, like I feel like Meg had a duty to Meg to, if she knew that he did it, to just be like, dude did it. You know what I mean? And without her saying that, the jury did the right thing, in my opinion, you guys. And in my opinion, they have the right guy. In my opinion, he was as guilty or guiltier than the other girl who got immunity. I'll stop there.
All right. Thank you, Curves. Nadia, you're in the building. What do you want to say about this situation?
Ooh, this is a heavy topic, Diva. I too felt like the state did not prove their case. I really felt like that. I was really shocked by the verdict, right? But then I also had to take a step back and think about what my opinion was based upon, right? And it was based upon all the commentary that was given from people that were in the courtroom. And I had to remember that was their perspective, right? That they were feeding to us or whatever. And it made me think like, what did the jury base this off of? But let's not forget his behavior during this trial was all staged. Okay, let's not forget that he tried to tamper with a juror. He tried to bring his kid in there to put a perspective out there like he's a good dad, right? Poor kid, right?
Wait, Nani, I'm gonna let you finish, but I want to just throw this out there for consumption, right? Every person who is on trial, their good lawyer is going to tell them to do some things that will try to sway the jury in their direction. They're going to tell you, comb your hair right, wear this, wear that, sit up straight. Hey, if you got to bring your kids in there for sympathy, Now, I'm not here to judge whether that's right or wrong. You're going to bring your kids so that the people can kind of see that you're human and that you're a dad and maybe lean in your favor. So continue.
I just felt like Tory has been playing in our face for a long time,
Mhm.
Diva, from the different behaviors that have been going on, and he was not acting as if he was an innocent man. Okay, I respect the jury's perspective because based off of what we know and what the initial um statements were to the prosecution and everything, everybody said he did it. Everybody said he did it. Is there doubt there for Kelsey to be a possible suspect? Absolutely. And let's not forget the type of immunity that she received. She could still be charged. She could still be charged. There's different type of immunities, and the one she received, she can still be charged with crimes after the fact. She could still be charged with perjury. But I agree. I although there was a lot of doubt there or whatever, judging by his patterns of behavior, I still felt like he did it, you guys. And I stand on that. I stand on that. He's a classic narcissist. And judging by the way his father performed this afternoon outside of that courtroom, the apple does not fall far from the tree. Like, it was everybody else's fault but his son's actions and decisions. And I said, when the father did that outside of the courtroom, it came full circle for me. And now I understand where his behavior comes from.
Well, the father and the stepmother were emotional. And I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna say they were emotional because at the end of the day, it's his kid, right? And so there are a lot of parents. Your kid could do something that's wrong or bad, and you're still gonna feel bad for them because that's your child. So his father was really emotional because his father was in the courtroom. And probably his father's thinking in his head, I do believe that Tory Lanez and all of his people was like, this is a slam dunk. We got this. And so when they heard that verdict, they nearly passed out. And that's why his father was outraged. The last thing in my mind, I do not know facts, but in my mind, the last thing that father and Tory Lanez himself was expecting to hear was guilty, right? And so when they heard guilty, that father lost his mind and was calling everybody under the sun that he can think of, and he was blaming it on them. But the thing is, of course, listen, this is saying, when I was growing up, if you don't bring a gun to the party, nobody could get shot.
Mm-hmm.
So you knew that you, one, shouldn't have been in possession of a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that's true. That's true too, Sen. Because
and that's I wanted you to finish, Diva. But I
yeah.
mean, are you upset that your son got convicted, or are you upset that the money train is about to
stop? It's a mixture
of
all of the above, probably, right? Because listen, it's unfortunate that a lot of times in the African American community, right? If we want to keep it 100, when you got a lot of first generation people that make the money, and then everybody else depends upon that person finances, and it's not right. So it's a mixture of everything, but at the end of the day, he's a dad. And I think really a lot of it came from they was not expecting that verdict, and they probably could have swallowed maybe a guilty on something, but when they said guilty on all three, they really darn near passed out. And then they're feeling some type of way too, right? Because it's 2 days before Christmas. Well, now it's 1 day before Christmas, right? That now I'm confused myself. No, 2 days before Christmas, and then he got the clean. They took him right in. So they got a lot of emotions going on, and but at the end of the day, take it more as that's his dad. That's his dad. And his dad feels like he was railroaded. And again, this is my belief. My belief is everybody was paying off everybody. So a lot of people were saying that, Tory Lanez was paying off a lot of people. But it's funny and ironic. At the end of the day, Tory Lanez's dad pretty much accused Rock Nation and Jay-Z of paying people off. Trent, thank you for the super chat. Yes, and Merry Christmas to all and Happy Holidays to all. Twin B, it's a it's a heated conversation. It's a hard topic to talk about. This thing has multiple layers. What do you want to say about this conversation?
Well, happy holidays, everybody. Hey, Miss Diva. How are
Hey.
you? I keep missing the lives. Like, oh my goodness. I finally was able
And
to
this is a late one for me, but go ahead.
I was able to catch one. Okay. The jury looked at the evidence that was presented.
Mm-hmm.
We got our, information from the bloggers, lawyers who are not necessarily criminal defense attorneys, or they weren't like former prosecutors, but they have a law degree and have some knowledge of the law. But the jury looked at it as it was Tory's gun. He had gunpowder residue on him. A witness put the gun in his hand. Kelsey, in that moment, text and said, Tory shot Meg, help. That's a text message that can't be erased.
True.
Right?
True.
He called, he didn't apologize for the act, but he called and said, sorry, sorry, sorry. Why is he apologizing to Kelsey if Kelsey was the cause of everything?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the jury kind of moved away from the noise, or maybe didn't hear the noise that we heard on the outside of the court case. The jury just listened to, okay, this is what's being presented to me. Kelsey came up there and she tried to throw the case, but the jury looked at it as she's trying to throw the case, because her initial response to the incident was to text Megan's bodyguard for help. And then she went in September and she laid it all out there. She said it was Tory. So I think they looked at those statements as the truth, and then what she did in court as a lie. And then also in terms of her getting immunity, I don't think the prosecution fully knew what she was going to say or how she was going to try to throw the case. They were just trying to get her to talk like, okay, yes, you could get immunity because we don't really feel, they feel like she don't have nothing to do with it. So yes, whatever, immunity. So she was trying to play chess with the prosecution. But the thing is, she didn't realize, she was trying to play chess with them, and the jury got her game. Like, oh, we see what you're doing. We're going to take your words of what you said before into account. And I think that's what the jury did. I think they listened to her first initial account, and I think they listened to the account of the eyewitness. And even if she was the initial shooter, she was not the one that, fired the shot that shot Meg. And the way I determine that is because she said Tory shot Meg, right? So even if people could say, people like, oh, they were fighting over the gun, this, that, and the other, or whatever the case may be, even if she shot her first, she's an accomplice to Tory. That doesn't mean that Tory should get off because there was multiple people shooting the gun. When a situation happens like that, they look to see, okay, well, who was the actual shooter that injured the person, regardless if there was more than one.
So, Twin B, hold on. I'm going to let you finish.
Yeah, that's.
So, how do we know which one got in her foot versus which one didn't? How do we know?
So what happens in that case is that the prosecutor will make a deal with the accomplice. So sometimes, like in mob trials, there could even be the one who said, okay, I went and did the hit, but such and such ordered the hit. So like Nadi was saying before, they feel like Tory had more responsibility in this than anybody else. So they're going to come after Tory. And him having an accomplice doesn't negate the fact that he is also guilty. Now, if they want to go after Kelsey to say, oh, we think you shot the gun, we think you had something to do with it, that's by their right. Because if you rob a bank with somebody and somebody gets shot or killed in commission of that robbery, both parties could go down for murder, whether you shot the gun or not.
So stay right there with that thought process.
Okay.
Stay right there with that thought process. So why is Kelsey walking free?
Because remember, prosecutors can give immunity to people if they feel like they want there's a bigger fish. So like they would give immunity to the hitmen in order to get.
But they
the
usually give immunity because those people are going to speak up on behalf and help them have a slam dunk case against the person that they really want. And she did not come in there and help them have a slam dunk case.
But Diva,
that's why. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't mean.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
They did not know that. They did not know how.
Well, that's problematic, though, right?
They didn't know her because remember they have her September recorded and they called her as a witness for the prosecution. So they like, yeah, she gonna come in here. So that's why they was like, yeah, girl, you got immunity. Come on and tell us what you gotta tell us so that we can prove that this man did it. They was like, come on with, and then when she hit them with the, oh, I can't remember. Oh, did I say that? Who said that? When she hit them with that, that's when they started to get frustrated. But they thought that she was their witness on their side. They did think that.
But see, we can't. Thank you, Twin B. But let me just throw this in there. Here's the thing: they gave her immunity because they thought she was going to repeat everything she said in the September interview. Here's the thing, guys. Let's be clear, right? When you get this immunity, it's not no shaking of the hands, right? You're signing paperwork, so it's not about what they thought she was going to say. She didn't say what she was supposed to say. They need to come after her because you reneged on what this agreement was about. Okay. So if I give somebody immunity 9 times out of 10 or 10 out of 10, they're going to sit in that jury's box when they have to go in there and swear, and they're going to tell what needs to be told. She did not do that. So I need her to be brought back to justice also. Because that's what needs to be done.
That's what needs to be done, Diva. But it's not going to happen because he was found guilty.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. I think
hold on, guys.
They would have done that.
They can still bring her the justice outside of his guilt.
They don't want her.
No, they can. They can. We're just saying that they won't. If he would have been found innocent, I think they would have went after Kelsey, like basically you messed up our case. But because he was found guilty, I don't believe they're gonna waste like taxpayer dollars going after her because they got the outcome that they wanted. So it's up to the prosecution whether or not they want to file perjury charges. And remember, she didn't completely perjure herself. She just kept saying, I can't remember, I don't recall. So she had an attorney advise her, because when you say I can't remember, I don't recall, they can't use that against you and say that you're lying. Who can prove that you can't recall? And that's how they were able to get her September testimony in, because they were using it as,
I think did we lose you, Twin B? I feel like he's going to appeal. He's going to appeal, but Twin B, are you still there? Okay, I think we lost her. Does anyone else have anything to add to this conversation?
I just want to ditto on what Twin B said. That's practically what I just read. Was everything about how the immunity, how it works, why they found him guilty based off of what they were presented. And they don't have to present 1,000% proof. That's just the way our law works. And unfortunately, some people are upset that there was a form of justice handed down. I'm not real sure why the issue is, though. I'm just like, would people be happier if Kelsey and him went to jail, if it wasn't just him? Or is the problem that he's going to jail at all or found guilty at all without the proverbial smoking gun? But they have gun residue You know what I'm saying?
I think it's a mixture. I think it's a mixture of everything. And honestly speaking, when you have the text messages, I could see the jury saying, okay, the text messages don't lie. But it's just, to me, I feel like there's more to this story. I feel like, too many of them are not telling truths, and it leads me to believe that, yeah, I feel like somebody, it's not about me feeling better. I think the whole case is just sad overall. I think the whole thing is just very sad. So to me, there was not going to be a winner in this case, so to speak. And the reason why it's not going to be a winner is because the whole, like, I'm exaggerating, but you get what I'm saying. The whole world is very emotional over this. And even though everybody's saying Megan won, protect Black females, she didn't really win, because there's so many people out there that are still looking at her as if she's the devil.
It's alive right now with DJ Academics, where they're dragging her. The hip hop, the males in hip hop are coming out, and it's not over for her. And
Can I
it's
say,
hard for her to come up from this, because they're going to suppress her, because they're going to create her like she's a snitch when she's a victim. They're going to switch it around. They're already doing it. They've been doing it. They've been dragging her sex life and everything, and it's not right, because she's the victim.
Well, see, here's the thing.
That was assaulted.
But see, here's the thing. This is not new. The media and patriarchy has been doing this for decades upon decades upon decades. What we have to do as Black women and as a Black community is rally around. When we see these men behaving like this, turn them off. We should not be supporting them. We should not be streaming their music. They should all be canceled. Like, I heard someone say, the LGBT community has so much power because they cancel people. They don't give people chance. I think that's an excellent idea. And I feel like if Black women did the same thing with these Trey Songs, with these Chris Brown, with these men who are violating women, you get them out of here right now and give some. Do you know how many talented singers there are in this world? Do you know how many talented rappers there are? Just go on YouTube. Have you listened to some of these covers? We don't need a Tory Lanez. We don't need a Trey Songs. I think it's important that we got this verdict, and the reason why is because it's going to encourage other girls to know that there is hope. You can report them. Somebody will believe you. There will be justice on the other side. This is bigger than Megan right now. This needed to happen, and Black men need to know that you can't just police Black women and hold us accountable without it swinging back your way too. The same way the car goes forward, it goes backwards. And Tory, he's going to jail.
Exactly.
So hold on, guys. I got to throw this in the conversation, right? I get the passion of protect Black women, but her own friend, who's a Black woman, where was the protection? So my thing is, we gotta do a cause. Hold on 1 second. Best Not BK, thank you so much for the super chat. 22 years in prison is an awesome loss of freedom. You know what? Here's the thing, guys. I get that. Tory did something he got to pay, right? But I'm gonna get on this sentence and everything in a minute, right? But Twin B, you ready to come up? You want to put I don't know if you want your avatar back on before I put you up, or okay. Here's what I need to throw out in a conversation. We gotta have this conversation. Okay, so two things can happen at the same time, Diva. Okay, and I'll set that. But let's throw some things out in a conversation, have a real conversation here, right? Protect Black women. But is her friend not Black, or her ex-friend, wasn't she Black?
Well, just because
but I'm gonna let you come in, Kurz. But 1 second. But I'm just saying this, right? We say stuff. This is my opinion. We say stuff, and it's like a momentary thing. It's like the end thing to do and to say, right? It's like protect Black women, but Kelsey could have made sure that this case didn't even become the circus that it was, because she was a Black woman that was there, that was in the car, that knows hands down what happened. And yet She let this whole thing become a whole big circus, right? And then we say, protect Black women. This verdict, what did it really do for us? I'm unclear about that. It didn't do anything. And I don't think it's going to make a woman decide, like, oh, I want to do that. If anything, they're going to be more scared to do it because people are scared for Megan as a result of this verdict. Because all these men are blaming this on her. So if now I'm in a situation like this and it happens to me, am I running to the courts? Even Megan didn't run to the courts.
But that's my thing.
But you're right. Let me just finish. She really didn't even want this to go down. But she had no choice in the matter because the state did it, right? They took on the case. She didn't want this thing to go down. So my thing is, this was not a win so much like everybody's saying for Black women. This is not proving that, oh, protect Black women. I think this case was sensational. I think that it's a lot of other dynamics behind it. And I think that it went down the way it went down for reasons other than we even know. So, so in my opinion, we didn't win anything. We didn't solve anything. And this is not the way that we get a real win. So yes, listen, I think Megan, whoever did this to her, they definitely should have paid. But also, I will say this, and this is Diva's opinion, and y'all know y'all can always disagree with me. I'm not going to be mad at you. Diva's opinion is Megan Thee Stallion didn't even help protect Black women. But go ahead, Gloria, you in the building. What do you want to add to this conversation?
Well, first of all, hello everybody on
Hey,
the panel and everyone in the chat.
Hello.
I'm happy that he was found guilty, and the reason why, I listened to every single piece of evidence. I listened to everything that was read in the transcripts. I listened to several eyewitnesses that was in the courtroom that took explicit notes. That's why I'm late getting here, because I was on just about everybody's thing tonight. I just left Dennis. But if people would have paid attention to this closely, if they'd have listened to three things, one was the phone call that Tory made from the prison the first day he was arrested, like right after it happened. And he was allowed to make, after he got booked and processed, he was allowed to make a phone call. He called Kelsey. Now his first words to Kelsey was, "What up, bro? Where Megan?" "Megan's in the hospital," she answered. "What hospital?" "Cedars-Sinai." "Megan's not going to forgive me. You know, I was so drunk, I don't know what happened. I drank 5 shots as soon as I got there and kept on drinking. You know, I don't act like that. I never would have acted like that. I'm so sorry. He's never going to forgive me." Kept saying how sorry he was. What was he sorry for? Okay, that was one. Second thing, people didn't pay attention to why Megan didn't initially call the police and all that stuff. Well, one, it was a bad area for making phone calls. You could make a text out, but the witness and other people said that was a bad area they was in for making phone calls. A lot of people will go to the end of that street to try to get signals. She didn't want to call the police because during that time was the height of George Floyd, all the police killing different Black men in different states, And LA is known for beating up black and brown people and hurting and killing them on traffic stops. So that was her first initial fear. She was shot in the feet. She was beaten. No matter who beat her, she was beaten. And the woman was in shock. Okay. Kelsey. I did not pay attention to Kelsey part 2, which I consider part 2 her on the stand. I paid attention to Kelsey the night of the actual shooting when she sent a text to the bodyguard saying, please help, 911, Tory shot Meg. The second thing I paid attention to was her testimony she gave to the DA and the prosecutors when they pulled her in for questioning. That testimony, that 81-minute testimony, where she said he beat her, dragged her out of the car. She was trying to get him away from Meg. She jumped in the car and tried to jerk the car because obviously she couldn't drive it. And I don't know if it was a stick or whatever, but she couldn't get it started. She couldn't get it, but she jerked it to get his attention. He left Meg, ran over there and snatched her out. Now, remember, there was no DNA found on the gun that was female. It was 2 male, but the DNA was inconclusive because it was such a small sample, which could have happened from the chlorine or wiping it down. Second, the gunpowder residue was on 2 people, her and Tory, which gun residue can get transferred if a gun has been recently fired with someone's hand and they go to grab someone and snatch them out the car. I figure that's how it got on her clothes. But in court, when the criminologist was on the stand and the defense was asking him, the question was, who had the most gun residue on, the person, either the male or the female? He said, I have to check my notes. Let me check my notes. As he was looking, the defense hurried up and asked him another question, which got him off the subject, and he never got to answer that question. Who had the most gunpowder residue on him? Now, people that's on Tory's side is all hollering that he can appeal. Yes, everybody's entitled to an appeal, but that does not make it so that the judge will accept the appeal. That doesn't make it happen just like that. And then people are hollering about the driver. Okay, the driver did not come back today. The driver came back a day or 2 ago, but they already started the closings, because remember, they started closing statements one day, then the prosecutor finished his, the defense started his, but it got late in the day, so they let the defense finish his the next morning. Then he gave the jury instructions, and then jury went out. And the jury asked a question which required the court reporter to go back to the jury room and read them something about willfully. That was a clue right there. They're going to find him guilty. That was a clue right there. Why are they asking that question? He was only charged with 3 things. The first charge was the most serious one than the other 2. But you got to remember, this man was on probation. Well, he was on diversion, which is just another word for probation, for a previous gun charge. He had assaulted 2 other young men, that were stars. He assaulted his baby's mother. He also was driving a car, himself, he was driving, and a gun was found in the car, which was later found out to be in his baby mother name. So that's how he got out of that gun charge, because that gun happened to be registered. This guy has been traveling around the United States getting in trouble after trouble after trouble. This is not a nice young man. And he's also an immigrant. We're already having enough problems in this country with police and black women and black men. People forget how many black women are missing in this country, and nobody is trying to find them.
Okay, so hold on, Toria. Hold on one second. Ali, thank you so much for the super chat. If you can take the celebrity away from this, a man was shot someone. In the real world, they would be charged and found guilty. I don't disagree. They would be charged and found guilty as long as we can prove that that man or that woman was the one that did the shooting. So
now
I don't want to hold on one second, Tori. Hold on one second, Tori. You said a lot, and I'm not in disagreement. So I want to make sure everybody's clear, right? But the thing is, when you're in court for something, if you really want to be a good juror, we got to isolate everything else that you're not in court for and deal with the situation that you are in court for, right?
That's right.
Because if we all take into account some past transgressions, then you might as well not even have the court case, just throw us in the jail, up underneath the jail, right? So I'm not disagreeing with all of his past charges. He had them. That's why he knew he was in trouble from the jump if that gun was connected to him, because he knew that he shouldn't have been anywhere near a gun and be connected to a gun. So there's a lot of
Diva, and this gun was unregistered. This
was
was
another
unregistered gun.
Well, that's one of the charges, right? So that's one of the charges too, right? So, but here's the thing: what I'm saying is, right? We're compiling like situations and circumstances all on this case, and we're feeling like it has resolved all of that and it has proved XYZ. In my opinion, this case did not prove that we get justice for Black women. It didn't prove that for me.
No, it didn't prove that either for me.
Yeah,
no, you're right.
In my opinion, too, in terms of just justice, period, I don't know. Now, the text messages will bring a different level of okay in this for me, but everything that I heard, it doesn't hands down wholeheartedly say to me like, oh, yes, I know for a fact that he was the only one and the one that solely did the pow pow. And on top of that, I get, everybody's coming at dad and the stepmom, but as a parent, I get their emotions, right? Because they're feeling like their son got railroaded. They're feeling like, you know what? We don't know what really went on and went down. And I do get, Toria, everything that you're saying. I just think that overall, this case was a hot mess. It was a mockery of the justice system. And okay, he got charged. But in addition to that, I want to say this, right? I get it. Everybody's like, lock him up, throw him under the jail, blah, 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 blah. But this is, to me, overall with the justice system, I will never understand how a person who took someone's life can be walking free. And here he is, the person is still alive, and he's facing up to 22 years. It just doesn't make sense to me. But that's me, right? We got plenty of people. We even got people that are committed manslaughter and was found guilty, and they're still not doing no 22 years. I don't get it, right?
And so he's not going to get. He can get up to 22 years, but with all this all this hoopla around this case, I really think he might only get like 5 to 10 years. I really don't think he's going to get that much. The main thing he's going to get is deported. And the deportation is going to come in because not only this case, but the prior stuff. But I forgot to tell you this. Tory also said on the Shade Room, and they pulled it up, that somebody was accusing Kelsey, this was last year,
Mhm.
because she made some song, was accusing Kelsey of doing it. And he said, no, Kelsey did not do this. So they pulled that up. He said that.
Yeah, so wait, Sin said
Well,
he's
that's
not home
good.
menace diva. Cut the strain. He's playing adult life for real, for real. No, you know what? Listen, he got if he got to go. It's a hard lesson he's gonna learn, and they're definitely gonna deport him, right? They deported what's his name, Joe Judice. Like they're not playing these games. He's gonna go.
Take
Listen,
his
the
daddy
sentence is
with him.
coming. The
Is he
sentence
gonna
is
have to
coming in
serve?
July. Okay, wait, Ali. Thank you for the super chat. He was found guilty because the lawyer made inadmissible evidence admissible. His own witness said he had the pow pow, not Kelsey. Not
Mhm.
Kelsey. Yeah, you know what? I would love to see the transcripts. And I don't know if I have time to read through them all, but I would love to see the transcripts. Um, listen, guys, he's guilty. They should deport the part of two. Come on, E. Don't do that.
And to your
Don't do
point
that.
earlier, Diva,
Yes.
like as far as the parents, I feel like their reaction is based off the lies he fed them.
Right.
Seriously,
And
like because that whole thing looked orchestrated. I just really feel like he fed them a bunch of lies, just like he fed us a bunch of lies. To the public and everything, trying to put out this persona and everything. My heart goes out to those parents because they only trying to believe in their son and what they present. But let's just
but
be honest,
they
a lot of
not naughty.
hold on,
They just opened themselves up to another lawsuit
no, but how
by
many?
saying the stuff, the defamation on Jay-Z and putting drugs and all this
And
other
I
stuff.
totally agree, Tori. I totally agree. They put a lot of false accusations out there, but at the end of the day, they were fed lies just by this narcissist, just like the rest of the world was.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's why their reaction was so emotional. He's been pulling the blinders down on everyone, and he's been trying to orchestrate this case for so long, and I feel like it finally blew up in his face, and my heart goes out to those parents because let's just face it, guys, like a lot of parents don't want to believe that their kids would do something like this bad,
And
right? And
Okay, Nadi, let me
feel
ask you this one
embarrassed.
question. Let me ask you this one question, Nadi. And you're a mom, and
Mm-hmm,
I'm a mom. Diva's a mom.
mm-hmm.
As a parent, when you see the whole time your child has been in the U.S., one case after another, one arrest after another, one violent crime after another, you see that child keep repeating the same patterns and keep getting. This is like the fourth or fifth time he's been pulled over for a gun.
Absolutely.
A driver took a charge. A child's mama took.
Mm-hmm.
That was her gun, and then another one, somebody else took the charge. A bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you see your child constantly making the same mistakes over and over. When do you finally say, as a parent, this is my child? He's the one's wrong. He has to pay or get him some help, therapy, something, but he has to pay for what he keeps constantly repeating the same thing over and over. As
But
a
I
parent,
feel like
we have
Toria,
to
the
say
difference
this.
is he's the breadwinner for the family, and that's where I think the
Well,
loyalty
we're assuming
lies.
that, right? We're assuming that. Well, hold on 1 second. I do believe this. They put all the eggs in in thinking that the jury want to go home for the holidays and not reach a guilty verdict fast. I think that's why that jury wasn't playing games with the verdict. They was like, we ain't spending Christmas Eve and Christmas over this thing right here. We want to go home. Okay. So
but
yeah,
Diva,
yes, I'm gonna let you in. Let me just say this in terms of parents, right? Now this is my own, I'm talking about a first cousin of mine, right? Though I mean, I must have been maybe 7, 8, or 9 when it happened. He did a thing. They locked him up for a very long time. Okay. And my aunt spent her pension and everything. Everything. Getting him the lawyers defending him, trying to get him out. Even when the lawyer told her, listen, it's save your money.
Mm-hmm.
She still spent her money. So my thing is that parents can know how their child is, and maybe some of the guilt is their own, because they're thinking if they woulda, coulda, shoulda did something
They
differently,
created this monster.
and that's why they may be so invested in helping them. It could be a mixture of things. And then we can all say anything. We could all say, I would never, if my child, blah, blah, blah. But then that child pull your heartstrings. And next thing you know, you finding a lawyer, paying for the lawyer,
Look
and
at
you
Tim
helping
Norman.
out.
Tim
And
Norman.
Tim Norman, there you go. That's a prime example. And it was even rumors that he was trying to take her life.
Okay.
And she still is standing behind her son.
Mm-hmm.
Your son took the life of your grandson.
Mm-hmm.
You thank you for that, Nadi. Tim Norman. That's a prime example. I can't say anything else after that. Go ahead. Who was trying to talk to me? E?
Yes, because listen, the fact that the family and Tory and all of the people thought that he was going to get off or they weren't going to come back with a verdict so fast, that just further proved why the conversation changed to protect Black women. Because I saw someone put that in the chat. How did this become protect Black women instead of an assault case? This is why. When all of these people started this smear campaign against this woman to invalidate her experience. Oh, she wasn't pow pow. That never happened. Oh, she stepped on glass. Anything to avoid this Black man going to jail.
But I'm gonna let you finish, but let me step in. Let's not blame it all on the people. Megan herself, in the beginning, out of her own mouth, said she was not pow pow. She the one that gave the glass theory. Now, if you go back and watch her interview with Gayle King, she explains why she initially said that and did that. So she put that theory out there.
But she did that to protect them. But we all knew that it was nonsense because we heard that she was shot. Oh, excuse me. We heard that she was pow before that night. We heard about it. Even after she said that she stepped on glass, she was doing this. Listen, everybody is rallying around this criminal, this thug, this assailant. Everyone is rallying around him to protect him and leaving the victims uncovered. And when parents are sitting in the courtroom and listening to this behavior, and the father becomes so outraged, I understand that's your child, but y'all know that he has a little anger management problem. He gets it from his father. We saw an example of that.
Get it from his daddy.
And so when you're listening to the testimony and you're listening to these eyewitnesses who don't know Megan, who don't know Tory, these are independent witnesses who are telling you that they saw your son drag these two women by their hair. He's fighting these women. He's pulling out weapons against these women. Listen, he's sleeping between these two women. This little man did all of this. He is the cause of all of this that went on. He is the catalyst. None of this could have happened without him. So as a parent, when you're sitting in the courtroom, yes, no mother wants their child to go to prison. I understand that wholeheartedly. It hasn't happened to me, but I know women personally who I work with who have been through this situation and who have told me the agony that they felt, not knowing if their child is okay, not being able to speak to their child, and just because of the deplorable conditions that the prisons are in. However, the prisons are built for a reason. When you cannot conduct yourself in society, you have to go there to get your mind right. You need to rehabilitate yourself. You need to take a reassessment, and we need to make sure as a society that before you come back out, you won't do this again. I think
but unfortunately, that's not how the prisons are built right now. And I'm not saying just because they're not built right, people shouldn't go, but the prison is not built like that right now. In New York City, right? Hold on one second. In New York City, these prisoners are dying by the dozens over horrific conditions.
Right.
And see, my problem is jail is the punishment. Why do we feel like they gotta go in there and be treated like they're not even human because they're in jail? Everybody in jail did not do something so heinous. And even if they did, that doesn't mean that you should be treated like a non-human. And then how do you treat somebody for 5 years or 10 years or 15 years like trash? And then you expect to put them back in society and they're supposed to have their mind right. That's a whole nother discussion for another day. Miss Wilson, thank you for the super chat. My uncle shot and killed a man, showed up at my grandparents' house, and my grandfather made him turn himself in.
That's right.
That is not, listen, that's what you should do. But let's be clear, we got in history dozens and dozens of people that do not do that. Why is that? Because we got this currently now with the Shaquilla Robinson case. One of the guys, his mother is helping him run. We got that Gabby Petito case. In my opinion, his parents helped him run. Okay, we got, like Nadi just said, Tim Norman. His mother is 10 toes down, hoping that this boy, there's a miracle that happens for him. And he had done it before. Before he came to work for Sweetie Pies, I want to say he did a 10-year bid. So
And
she
he was
knows,
so bold.
that in my mind that he was the bad seed.
But
And
when
so
we
thank
don't,
you for the super stick. I do appreciate it. But go ahead.
but when
So
we don't hold our kids accountable, the criminal justice system has to do it for us. When you know that your child has this behavior, you have to get them, you have to kind of steer. I know it's hard to do. I know parents can only do so much once the child, becomes inspired by outside influences outside of the home. But just because you love your child and you don't want anything bad to happen to them, they don't get to go around and make victims of other people's children. All of us are somebody else's child. We all belong to somebody. And yes, and I know this is not the topic and I'm going to get off of it, but I agree with you. The prison system, we can do better and it doesn't have to be so harsh. But when it comes to crimes against children, the elderly, animals, and women, and SA crimes, oh no, you deserve the harshest penalty that we have to offer. But go ahead, I'll buy out.
Well, can I
okay,
say
so
this?
wait, yes, you can, Nadi. Give me a second. Let me read that. That's true, Diva. And the majority of those people in Rikers haven't even been convicted
Exactly.
of a crime yet.
Out.
Yo,
I hope Jen Shaw can stay one night at Rikers.
Right, but let me tell you something. If you would hear the crimes that they're going through, there's this guy, I don't even know what ended up happening to him. I don't know if I think he was in a New York prison, but his sister was trying to advocate to get him in the hospital because when she saw other people from the prison was trying to call her and his family saying, get your brother help. So my thing is, there's multiple layers to this Megan and Tory case. And wholeheartedly, with everything in me, yes, because I'm a Black woman, protect Black females, right? But at the same time, I can't walk in the jungle and then be like, oh my God, the lions, the tigers, and the bears got me. I walked in the jungle. What was I expecting? So I'm not blaming anybody, but I also want to say this. When you go and you party and you're drinking and maybe some other substances is involved, you're setting yourself up for some situations. Now, actually, Aubrey, you're in the building. What would you like to add to this conversation?
Okay, you could cut me off if this gets a little bit long. I wanted to just share something from my life and my children's life about children, right? Okay.
Yes.
So my daughter, go back. My daughter is both my children are adults now, but go back to 3rd grade. My daughter was having problems. I was giving her, checking on her in the bathtub one evening, and she had all these bruises and bumps. Like what happened? A boy in her class pushed her off the top of the slide. Now, when I say slide, I'm talking about the top, like 4 or 5 feet up in the air. He pushed her off and caused her, she could have broke her neck, right? So I go up to the school to find out what's going on and to hold him accountable about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The principal, who was a Black female at the time, a doctor, doctor of education, she says, oh, well, so-and-so probably has a crush on your daughter because, she's cute and he probably has a crush and it's not a big deal. I said, excuse me. She said, well, I said, get his mother up here right now. Well, his mother's a single mother and she's busy working. And I said, guess what? I'm a single mother too. Get her up here right now. Long story short, when it all boiled down, his mom took care of it. She held him accountable because I demanded that he be held accountable. Fast forward about 10 years later, I'm walking around the track, old lady trying to get some weight off, right? And a young man stops me and he says, hey, Miss So-and-so, do you remember me? Well, I've worked with kids off and on all my life. So no, to be honest, I didn't actually remember him. But I'm like, yeah. He says, no, it's me, so-and-so. Remember, the incident and you had my mom come up to the school? He says, I want to thank you. Because of you, I am now a functioning young adult male. I never did that anymore because you held my feet to the fire. Nobody else ever did that. That's what I want to add to this conversation. We cannot continue to allow any of our children, whether they be male or female, boys or girls, we cannot allow them because they're cute, because they're ours. If the parents don't hold them accountable, you can do it when they're young, or you can do it now, or you can cry later. Because just like this young man, Tory, he's going to find out one day. And that's what I want to add to this conversation. Thank you for listening.
No, thank you for coming through. And you are correct, right? Discipline starts early on. Discipline starts at home, right? Don't disagree with that. And what happened in your case was a good thing. And so and actually too, because all of Tory's other cases with a pow, people took the hit for him. And then it so happened that this particular case, there's no one to take the hit for him. He has to take it for himself, right? So as I stated, there's so many things that are breakouts of this conversation. But what I don't want us to get distracted, in my opinion, is to think this is a victory towards protecting Black women.
And that's
I don't see that victory, right?
Yeah,
I also want to say that, Tory is problematic. And the problem started way before this Megan Thee Stallion case, right? But there's also layers within that. And part of the layers is the celebrity of it all, right? And so he had celebrity behind him. He had money behind him. And that's part of the reasons why he got away with a lot of this stuff too. So it's multiple things that need to be addressed. And I think that I'm going to wait to see what the sentence is going to be. I feel like because this case is so high profile, they're going to stick it to him. That's just my opinion, but we'll have to wait and see. And when I say they're going to stick it to him, I feel like they're going to stick it to him and give him probably the maximum sentence they could possibly give him, because that's just the way it's leaning, in my opinion. And I just think it's crazy. I know he is like good, but locking this man up for 22 years.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
Like, what is so wrong with our system where these women did not feel comfortable enough to come forward to the law to protect them? And that like, that's what's sad about our justice system. Like, we can't even turn to the justice system to feel like
can't trust the police.
Right.
That's what it was. We can't trust the police. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look up the judge and see what his record is on how he, issues his sentence, because you can do that. That's all public knowledge. So I'm going to look that up over the weekend and see what I can find out about this judge and how he sentences people.
I would like to know that. But before you continue, one thing I just have to say, because you brought up a good point about distrusting the police, but we also distrust our men. And so when we distrust the police and we have distrust of our men, we are alone in our community. And this is why we keep saying protect Black women. And I'm sorry about that, Toria. I'm going to let you go ahead and finish. I just had to say.
That's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Exactly.
Yep, I agree. Exactly.
I agree. That. No, like, why aren't we protected on all levels at this point? Like, There's no protection for us. Like, why do we all, and they wonder why it's like this strong black woman prevail. Like, we have no protection. If we don't protect ourselves, who will?
Right. I think in terms of protect black women, that came out because of um just the way the men in the industry was reacting to this case is
Still
horrible.
reacting
And
presently.
still reacting, right? Because it's horrible the way that they're reacting to it. It's like, whoa, did she do something to y'all? Did she shoot? You know,
Right.
did she pow somebody in y'all family? Like, you know what I mean? So it's not only that black women can't trust the police, but we can't trust men, and then also other black women who get upset when black women talk against black men. So that's why, and then where it goes to protect black women is because they say this case is like spreads a larger light on what's happening to the average black woman when something's happening to her and she feels like she has to protect the man over protecting herself because she's afraid of how she'll be treated by the justice system. She's afraid of how she'll be treated by the men in her community, how she'll be treated by her aunties who's like, you know, he was just drunk that night. He ain't mean to do all of that to you. Don't be cooperating with them people when they come here to ask you about this or whatever. Everything's gonna be all right. So I think that's where the conversation starts with, well, how can we change this so that black women are protected? I think this case kind of neutralized it because some women are going to be scared to speak out now because of the way Megan was treated. Mm-hmm. And then some women are going to say, okay, well, they see a guilty verdict as justice. So they might feel like, okay, well, it's okay for me to say something because I might get justice. So I think it's two schools of thought coming out of this whole scenario in terms of protect black women. So it's kind of neutralized that whole idea.
I don't like the way men talk to women, period. Like back when I was growing up, you better not call a woman a B. You better not call a woman, you know, the other words they be calling them, hoes and all this stuff. Men talk to women bad, and look at the songs they write and stuff, how they speak to women in the songs. I mean, our society has to put a stop to the music that our children are listening to growing up, glorifying these rappers and these singers that call women all out their name and stuff. Because let's face it, once our children get out of our home and away from us, they're influenced by other people besides their parents. But if we start young and build a good foundation, sometimes, most of the time, it sticks, and then there's always going to be a bad apple in the bunch.
And
okay, so hold on 1 second, guys. Okay, hold on 1 second. Allie, I think you're right. It's ingrained in us from childhood to not snitch. Remember, no one wants to be a tattletale. Yes, I do remember that. Tamara said, women not coming forward is not new around the world. We live in a man's world. We are still struggling with that. Women shaming is worldwide. Tamara, you're 100% right. So let me just say this, because I'm going to go around and we got to close out. Okay, we can, this conversation is like a to be continued. I want to say this in terms of, you touched on something with the music, Toria. The thing is, though, if you do a study, and you look at the lyrics of music of the African American community, right? We are one community that will have the most derogatory words in it towards ourselves than any other community. So it's not about the government or somebody else stopping it. It's about us deciding that, you know what, we're going to respect ourselves and each other. You even have that females will call each other, you my B, you my this, you my that. So just like they said, stuff starts at home, it has to start with us. Okay? You want to call your girlfriend, that's my B. Guys and girls, you want to say, that's my N. So, and you put it in the music, and then y'all blasting the music and bumping to the music. You can't expect someone to treat you better than you want to treat yourself. They say that you teach people how to treat you. Well, we're teaching them how to treat us when we allow this music, we buy the music, we bump to the music, we think the music is hot, and we're okay with using certain derogatory words because we want to claim when we use it, it means something different. The word was meant for harm and hurt from the beginning that it was put out. And there's no way, in my opinion, that you can switch the word around and make it for good. We're going to go around and close out. It's a hot topic. We have to come back when Tory Lanez actually gets sentenced. I think this was an injustice all the way around. I think nobody really won. I think that people are going to still drag Megan Thee Stallion for the days to come. I will definitely be supporting her and lifting her up. It's a mess, but there are a lot of people 10 toes down. They did not like the way the beginning happened, and therefore that made the waters murky all the way through. So, Toria, 60 seconds, your closeout.
I agree with everything you said and what Naughty said and the other young lady said. I can't see her name. um, Everybody just have a nice holiday and very blessed one and try to stay warm. It's like 12 degrees
Freezing.
here.
Freeze
and
it.
our wind chill is 0. So
My
I went out
doors were
earlier
frozen.
today
I
and
couldn't
I
even open
was
my door.
frozen.
Frozen.
I'm still cold. And I've been home like 3 hours, 4 hours now, and I'm still cold.
My house is on sauna mode. I'm good in my house, but honey, outside is ice. Yes,
Yeah.
happy holidays, everyone. Curves, your final words.
Hey, Diva. Well, happy holidays, everybody. Happy holidays, panel and Gray Tribe. You know, I had a lot of thoughts about this whole thing after we started already talking about everything. I was looking at the charges, and the more I look at them, it lends itself to what you're saying, Diva, that this isn't about protect Black women, because the charges are more so about the pow pow, possession
Yep.
of the pow pow, and how you use a pow pow. There's nothing about the actual assault on a human called Megan. You know what I'm saying? And for the state to have even picked up charges on that, and be, because he shot the ground, maybe they were like, "Oh, you shot our concrete or something."
The
So maybe
first
that's
charge
why.
was bodily harm.
Oh, it was because
Yeah.
the ones that he got charged with and found
All
guilty
3 of
of,
them. He was guilty on all 3 counts.
and
Bodily
so
harm,
bodily harm. So that is a person.
possession of an unlicensed firearm, and something else with the firearm.
Oh, that's not what it said in the chat earlier. But
No,
Mhm.
I
no,
didn't
it is not in
look
the
at all
chat,
that.
but
But
go
okay, and
ahead.
also, can we imagine like the trauma that both Megan and Kylie have to have gone through and are still continuing to like have to heal from by being treated like this by this man who they both laid down with and shared their bodies with? Can you know what I'm saying? He beat them both in the middle of the freaking street and then pow powed one. You know what I'm saying? And then threatened the other one or paid her off allegedly. You know what I'm saying? This is like, oh my God, the trauma.
She took the money.
Well, hey, even if she did, there's still trauma involved. You know, you might take money after you had your butt whooped too, just to be like, okay, let me try to pay for a doctor's visit or whatever. I don't know. But
You know,
also, music.
Kurz, I don't want to drag this conversation out, but let me tell you this.
Yeah.
If I want justice,
Right.
you can take that money and shove it up your behind. When I go
She
to
didn't
that
want
court,
justice.
I'ma let them know what went down. And
Yeah,
that is protecting Black women.
that
Because
would have
this Black chick right here, she's gonna tell the judge and everybody else who will
cool.
listen
Listen,
what you did
what
so
you
that
did.
you don't have the potential to do it to anyone else. So again, we
Amen.
got to start
Right.
protecting each other.
And we got to
If
protect
you,
ourselves.
you,
Meg had
you,
a responsibility to say something, you guys. Like
yeah,
she
I
had
feel
a,
that way.
she had a responsibility of her own self to be like, okay, I think he did because I at least think he did or something. Say something, all this. I don't know. That wasn't working for me. She had a
Right.
responsibility. 22 years is too long, though. 22 years is too long.
I feel that
Too
way.
long.
I feel
And
that way.
they need to give him
So,
some, like,
so
you
you
know,
know
white
what this
collar
case was
time.
about, to be honest with you? This case was about them wanting to stick it to him.
Yeah.
This
And
case has
his
nothing to do with
celebrity
really
created the
Megan was
sensationalism.
just this situation that happened, and Megan was just the catalyst that helped them stick it to him.
Right.
But this wasn't about nothing but them sticking it to him.
Right.
Because like I said,
Yeah.
22 years is excessive.
Excessive.
Excessive for what
Yeah.
all the charges are. Bedside BK, thank you for the super chat. Almost 2/3 of hip hop audience. Well, you talking right now are women between the ages of 18 and 34. Talk to us. This is what I'm talking about. Talk to us. They are slightly more women than men supporters. Protect Black women? Question mark. You speaking fast. See, here's the thing. When we gonna have these conversations, we got to throw the truths in these conversations. They want to protect Black women. Protect yourself. Stop buying this music that disrespects us all the time. You
Yeah.
know what? There was a man that was non-Black. I forgot who the rapper was. I want to say Meek Mills, right? His cover of his album was Black women with their behinds out, bent over, dropping it low, spreading it wide. And the man said, a man that don't even look like us said, this is what y'all want. This what y'all want from your man. This is what your men think about y'all. And we buy it. Best IBK, thank you for that super chat. You're speaking facts. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, the only thing about the music I mean, if we want to go into the music, we can go there again about how when it got taken out of our hands, we used to have Black empires that did promote Black excellence as far as our music and our media. And once it got taken out of our hands and funneled through it to us a different way, we did come out with this new product that is demeaning to only our group. You don't hear the J words talking about bitch better have my money. You know what
I
I'm
agree.
saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
So
we're doing it though. But
yeah,
we're doing it
that's what
because
I'm
we want the
saying.
dollar. So
That's what I'm
even
saying.
but you cannot do it. You cannot do
I
it.
don't do it. I mean, and some people don't. There are a lot of
Right,
people that don't partake. So it is a personal thing. However,
right,
in
right.
this particular case, he was wrong. 22 is too long. She should have said something. Oh my God, the trauma. Damn the music. And the celebrity made the sensationalism easy in this case. I'm done.
Yes. 90, 60 seconds. I got to go. 60 seconds.
Oh, it's gonna be 30, Diva.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you know what? I feel like we need to rally around this young woman, even though she was proven to be a liar. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he was a bigger liar. And I think that's what was proven here today. We need to create a safe place for victims, forget whether you're a celebrity or not, to come forward and feel protected within the law. Bottom line, like, she didn't feel protected enough to come forward. At the end of the day, she didn't even want to come forward. The state had to pick up the charges, and I feel like we need to stick to the facts. And at the end of the day, although I was shocked by the verdict, I'm glad he was convicted. I'm glad he has to sit down and fight this on a pill now, because now you don't have the means to manipulate the public the way you have been to try to hoodwink us. I'm just done. And I'm so tired of people trying to throw women under the bus because they want to speak out. Point blank, period. You should be able to get justice if you were violated. Point. Done. Y'all have a Merry Christmas. I love you all.
Love you too, Twin B.
Merry
60
Christmas.
seconds.
Happy
60
Kwanzaa. Merry
seconds.
Christmas.
All
Happy
right.
day.
Yes. So I'll make it quick as well. Guilty on all counts. The jury sat in, they deliberated, they probably went back and forth, they asked some questions for clarity, and what they came up with is a guilty verdict. Now, do all juries get it right all the time? No. But in this case, when you cut out the noise and just look at the plain old evidence of the matter, I believe the prosecution proved their case, and even some of the defense witnesses proved the prosecution's case. There was some, wild things thrown in the case, people trying to throw the set off or sway it a different way. But he's guilty. We'll see what the amount of time he'll serve is, but that is where it's going to come in based on his character and his previous convictions.
Yeah.
So he might be getting a heavier sentence because of his prior bad acts.
I agree.
So if this was like somebody up for their first time, you could be like, Your Honor, this is the first time they got in trouble. This sentence is too harsh, and you can argue that. But at sentencing, they're gonna all of the stuff that he's done before that wasn't brought up in trial is going to be taken into consideration for his sentencing.
Yeah. He's toast. He's toast.
Yes. Yeah, the father and the stepmother showed their behind. I understand that you angry about your son, but it does kind of make you be like, is that where Tory gets his anger management issues from?
They was emotional. Leave daddy and stepmama with her power to the people after alone.
She had on her Angela Davis hair, girl.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Like she was gonna be they was gonna be liberated like Angela, but
yeah, they did. They did. Listen, them two, they riots together, but they cute together. But it is what it is.
Yes.
60 seconds.
My apologies. I had a hard time coming off mute. There was a super chat that you received from Betsy BK, I believe that is. Whoever the person is, they need to be sharing that cell with Tory. Those stats are completely wrong. I looked them up. The audience is almost 2/3 of the audience between the ages of 18 and 34. That is not women. It's just 2/3 of the audience. And it's saying that they're Black. That's what they're saying. That is the 45% of that. That is that percentage. And also it says that the difference between men and women in the hip hop audience is only women by a slight percentage, less than 5 to 7%. So what Betsy was trying to convey is totally false. It's intellectually dishonest, and don't ever do that again. So also, I want to conclude with this. It may not be a win for some people as far as this verdict. However, the longest journey always begins with a small step. And what we need to do is build the momentum. I mentioned this before, what I heard someone say about the LGBT community. Black women, we want these rights, we want these protections. We need to make sure that we're going down. We need to make sure that our elected officials are putting things in place so that crimes committed against us, DV or SA, that they come with high penalties to discourage people from committing these acts against us. That's going to be important. The biggest takeaway is that someone committed a crime and they were found guilty. On January 27th, let's hope that they make the right decision and give them the maximum amount of time possible. And happy holidays to everyone else. Thank you all for listening.
Oh yes, happy holidays, Diva. Happy holidays, Great Tribe. Happy holidays.
Robin, 60 seconds. Robin, are you there? Okay, Robin might be done with us. Okay. All right. So listen, guys, thank you for coming through. I'm tired. It's late. Happy holidays. It was supposed to be a different type of show today, but the verdict came through. And so I figured, we had to talk about the verdict. Thank you, everyone, for being here. See you next time. Don't forget to hit the like button, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.